Somewhere in your life, there is probably someone who makes you feel guilty for things that aren't your fault. Someone who twists your words, makes you question your own memory, and somehow always ends up as the victim, no matter what they did to you. You've probably asked yourself, am I the problem? You're not. You've been manipulated. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. In this video, you'll learn the 7 psychological tactics narcissists use to control the people around them. Tactics so subtle, most people never even realize they're being used. I've studied over 40 years of psychological research to bring you this breakdown. And I'm going to show you how each one works, why it's so effective, and most importantly, how to protect yourself. Stay until tactic number 6. It's the one that shocks people the most, because almost everyone watching this has already experienced it. Tactic number 1. Love bombing. It starts beautifully. They make you feel like the most special person in the world. Constant attention, compliments, messages at every hour. They move fast, dangerously fast, telling you they've never felt this way before, that you're different, that you're the one. Psychologists call this love bombing, and it's deliberate. Dr. Dale Archer, a clinical psychiatrist who has studied narcissistic behavior for decades, describes love bombing as an overwhelming show of affection designed to win trust and create dependency before the real control begins. Think of it like this. A fisherman doesn't yank the rod the moment the fish bites. He lets the line run, lets the fish feel free. And then, once it's tired and hooked, he reels it in. That's love bombing. If someone's affection feels too intense, too fast, and too perfect, slow down. Real love builds gradually. Manipulation arrives in a flood. Tactic number 2. Gaslighting. Once they have your trust, they begin to rewrite reality. You remember something they said. They deny it ever happened. You bring up something they did. Suddenly, you're too sensitive. You're overreacting. You're imagining things. This is gaslighting, named after the 1944 film Gaslight, where a husband secretly dims the gas lamps in his home and then convinces his wife she's imagining the change in light. The goal is simple. Make you doubt your own perception, because a person who doesn't trust their own mind becomes completely dependent on someone else to define reality for them. Dr. Robin Stern, author of The Gaslight Effect, found that victims of gaslighting often described the same feeling. I felt like I was going crazy, but I was the sane one all along. Start keeping a private journal. Write down what was said and what happened. When someone tells you you're imagining things, you'll have proof that you're not. Tactic number 3. Triangulation. Once they have you doubting yourself, they introduce a third player. A coworker who understands them better. An ex who never caused this much drama. A friend who always takes their side. This is triangulation, and it serves 2 purposes. First, it makes you compete for their approval. You work harder. You try to prove yourself. You stop focusing on their behavior because now you're focused on winning. Second, it creates insecurity. The moment you feel replaceable, your grip on your own value loosens. And that's exactly where they want you. If someone constantly brings up other people to make you feel inferior or jealous, that's not accidental. That's architecture. Tactic number 4. The silent treatment. You said something, or maybe you set a boundary, or maybe you did absolutely nothing wrong, and suddenly, silence. No response, no explanation. Complete emotional withdrawal. Most people assume this is childish behavior. It's not. It's calculated. The silent treatment is a punishment designed to teach you that boundaries have consequences, that speaking up leads to pain, that the only way to restore peace is to apologize. even when you have nothing to apologize for. Research published in the Journal of Social and Personal Relationships found that people on the receiving end of the silent treatment experience the same psychological response as physical pain. The brain literally processes emotional rejection in the same region that processes physical injury. If silence is consistently used after you express a need or a boundary, that's not someone processing their emotions. That's someone punishing you for having them. Tactic number 5, moving the goalposts. You did what they asked. You changed, you improved, you apologized. And somehow, it's still not enough. The standard shifts, the expectation rises. There's always one more thing you need to fix before they'll be satisfied. This is called moving the goalposts, and it's one of the most exhausting tactics in the narcissist's playbook. Because here's the truth. The goal was never for you to succeed. The goal was to keep you trying. A person who is constantly striving to be enough has no energy left to question the person setting the standards. If your efforts are never acknowledged, if approval always comes with a new condition attached, stop trying to reach the finish line. It was never meant to exist. Tactic number 6. DARVO. This is the one I told you about at the beginning, and I want you to pay close attention. DARVO stands for deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. You confront them about something they did. Watch what happens. First, they deny it completely. Then, they attack you for bringing it up. And finally, somehow, by the end of the conversation, they are the victim, and you are the one apologizing. Dr. Jennifer Fried, a psychologist at the University of Oregon, coined this term after studying how abusers respond when held accountable. She found that DARVO is not random. It's a consistent, predictable pattern used specifically to shut down accountability. The reason it's so effective? Because it exploits your empathy. The moment they appear to be hurting, your instinct is to comfort them. And in that moment of compassion, the original issue disappears entirely. If every attempt to address their behavior ends with you comforting them, that pattern is not a coincidence. Tactic number 7. Intermittent reinforcement. This is the final tactic, and arguably, the most powerful of all. It's the reason people stay in relationships they know are hurting them. Intermittent reinforcement is when reward and punishment arrive unpredictably. Sometimes they're loving, sometimes they're cold. Sometimes they're the person you fell in love with. Sometimes they're someone you don't recognize. You never know which version you'll get. And that unpredictability is chemically addictive. Research in behavioral psychology, originally developed by B.F. Skinner, found that unpredictable rewards create stronger behavioral conditioning than consistent ones. It's the same mechanism behind slot machines. You keep pulling the lever because sometimes it pays out. The kind moments in a toxic relationship aren't accidents. They're the reinforcement that keeps you hooked. Recognize that the highs feel so high only because the lows are so low. Stability isn't boring. Stability is what love actually feels like. 7 tactics. 1 purpose. Control. And here's what I want you to remember. Recognizing manipulation is not about becoming paranoid. It's about becoming aware. Because awareness is the only thing they cannot manipulate. If this video helped you see something more clearly today, share it with someone who might need it. Not for the channel, but because someone in your life might be going through this right now and not have the words for it yet. Subscribe to Mind Vault for a new psychology breakdown every week. I'll see you in the next one.